In this video, I'll give you my top 3 NFL picks for week 14, along with 3 unofficial picks, also called leans. In case you don't know me yet, I'm Professor MJ and I have been teaching statistics to university students in Quebec City, Canada. Welcome to the best sports betting show on YouTube. Pick number 1, rated 4 stars out of 5, goes to the New England Patriots minus 1 point at the Arizona Cardinals. The last 14 times the Patriots suffered a double-digit home loss, they rebounded with a 12-2 record ATS against the spread. Bill Belichick knows how to fire up his team following a poor performance. In the current case, New England lost by a 14-point margin at Gillette Stadium against the Bills last week. Both teams have not fared very well recently on Monday Night Football. Indeed, the Pats hold a 1-4 record ATS versus a 2-10 record ATS for the Cardinals in these circumstances. Arizona has done an atrocious job at home from a betting perspective. In fact, over their past 12 games at State Farm Stadium, they have presented a 3-9 record ATS. These two teams rank similarly on the offensive side of the ball in terms of the expected points added statistic, also called EPA, both on the ground and through the air. However, the Patriots stand out with their superior offensive line, and there is no debate that they have a much better defense. Indeed, New England has the third best defensive unit according to the EPA statistics, while Arizona sits in spot number 20. Which team needs this win the most? Clearly the Patriots. They are still in the playoff race as evidenced by their 26% chance of making the postseason, based on 538.com. Meanwhile, Arizona has less than a 1% chance of reaching the NFL playoffs this year. Mac Jones has not been lighting up the scoreboard, but he has not turned the ball over in 4 straight games. Now facing a mediocre Cardinals defense, he and the running game should find a way to edge Arizona. Give me the Patriots laying 1 point on the road at the Cards. Pick number 2, rated 3 stars out of 5, goes to the Detroit Lions team total over 27.5 points. Let's take a look at the number of points scored by the Lions in their 7 home games so far this season. 35 points against the Eagles, 36 points against the Commanders, 45 points against the Seahawks, 27 points against the Dolphins, 15 against the Packers, and 25 against the Bills, and also 40 against the Jaguars last week. In other words, Detroit has exceeded 27.5 points in 4 of their 7 home games. They failed by a single point against Miami. I have no idea what happened against Green Bay, who does not have a top-rated defense. Finally, they still scored 25 points against one of the top units in the league, the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Vikings rank 21st in terms of points allowed per game. What about yards allowed per game? Minnesota is 31st out of 32 teams. There is no doubt in my mind that Detroit will move the ball well in a favorable environment at home. Please also note that the Lions don't have much injuries on the offensive side of the ball. DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown are back at full strength after being banged up a little bit. Jared Goff tends to fall apart when he gets pressured. He is very bad at avoiding pressure. Now, according to footballguys.com, the Lions have the 6th best offensive line while Minnesota ranks 23rd in terms of pressure rate. So I like the Lions to score a minimum of 28 points this Sunday at Ford Field. Pick number 3 is rated 1 star out of 5 and it goes to the Miami Dolphins minus 2.5 points at the Los Angeles Chargers. Put simply, the Dolphins have the better offense and the better defense as well. Moreover, the mindset is probably more positive on Miami's side. After losing 3 of their past 4 games, the Chargers only have a 30% probability of making the playoffs, and their fans are calling for Brandon Staley's head. He was supposed to be a defensive mastermind, but his team has allowed 5.4 yards per carry, which is the highest number since 1960. The team is not living up to expectations, and you can see them falling apart. After winning 5 straight games, Miami lost 33-17 in San Francisco against Brock Purdy. The last 16 times the Dolphins surrendered more than 30 points, they stormed back with a 13-3 record ATS. Meanwhile, LA has not fared well at home against teams with a winning record. In fact, they hold a 7-20 record ATS in that situation over the past few years. Miami has the edge in coaching, and they are healthier as well. Give me Miami minus 2.5 points at SoFi Stadium in Sunday Night Football. For entertainment purposes, here are some leans. They are bets that I like, but not enough to put money at risk, as opposed to the top 3 picks I shared with you earlier. Lean number 1 goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 3.5 at the Titans. Jacksonville fits 2 betting systems that I trust. First, betting a road underdog following a road loss. Over a 4-year span, it has generated a 160, 97, and 5 record ATS. Next, it also seems like a smart idea to back bad teams in divisional road matchups after a loss by a margin of more than 7 points. In this case, the Jags were humiliated 40-14 in Detroit last week. To top it all off, we have the revenge factor going our way since Jacksonville lost both meetings with the Titans during the 2021 regular season. Derrick Henry has averaged just 34 rushing yards over the past 2 games. Lean number 2 goes to the Buffalo Bills minus 9 against the Jets. I absolutely love betting a strong team that was the victim of an upset to a weaker divisional opponent earlier in the year. That's the case here since New York beat Buffalo 20-17 in Week 9. Moreover, the Bills get 3 extra days of rest after playing last Thursday. I have seen many statistical studies showing how elite NFL teams tend to make very good use of additional time to game plan. After a great game against the Bears, Jets QB Mike White had an up-and-down performance against Minnesota. Now facing an even tougher defense, things do not bode well for him. Last year, he threw 4 interceptions against Buffalo. Lean number 3 goes to the Ravens plus 3 at the Steelers. Despite Lamar Jackson's injury, give me Baltimore as 3-point underdogs in Pittsburgh. The Ravens lost both meetings against Pittsburgh last year, so they will be looking for payback. In their past 8 visits to Heinz Field, the Ravens present a 5-2-1 record ATS. The Steelers are 1-5 ATS when facing a team with a winning record. Tyler Huntley has proven to be a serviceable backup in the past. He can run, and he was very accurate last week by completing 27 of 32 passes against a fierce Broncos defense. I believe Baltimore will either win this game or lose by a very small margin. I have been running for several weeks a free underdog contest where you could win $50 US. For last week, we have two finalists, Araceli Tarin and Gary Brooks. The winning combination was the Bengals as 2-point underdogs against the Chiefs, along with either Detroit or Las Vegas as 1.5-point dogs. Those were the two biggest underdogs to win outright. So let me do a quick random draw in order to determine the winner of the $50 prize. And the winner is Gary Brooks. Congratulations, man! Contact me via email to redeem your prize. Let's run my NFL underdog contest once again in week 14, shall we? You must pick the two biggest underdogs to win straight up. You cannot pick the Thursday night game. You must enter your picks by 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday in the YouTube comments below, and you cannot edit your comment at any moment after posting it. Best of luck to all of you. I'm Professor MJ, University Statistics Professor for 15 years. Thanks for watching the best sports betting show on YouTube.